Firefighting in Canada this week is brought to you by VFIS of Canada, a division of CVIS Incorporated, Canada's largest insurer of firefighters. This week, the City of Winnipeg plans to implement counselling supports for firefighters and paramedics in response to stress caused by the pandemic. Then, Matagami First Nation Fire Department was able to buy new equipment with funding. And we'll take a look at the December episode of Firefighting in Canada, the podcast, featuring Markham Fire Chief Adam Grant. The City of Winnipeg announced counselling support for firefighters and paramedics in response to stress caused by the pandemic as part of its 2021 budget. Alex Forrest is the president of the United Firefighters of Winnipeg. He said this change has been a long time coming. The UFFW has been lobbying for mental health support since 2007, when a double fatality involving 2 fire captains resulted in several firefighters struggling with mental health issues, including PTSD.
We started lobbying the city and the province to assist us. The first thing we did was create presumptive PTSD so that if a firefighter comes in contact with a traumatic incident that resulted in a mental health injury, it was presumed that that firefighter received that injury in the course of his employment and he would be covered under workers' compensation. We have also been pushing the city for a number of years to put funding in place for mental health professionals that can assist us and other supporting elements. We are also looking at creating a fund here in Winnipeg that will assist our members for treatment centers, from everything from mental health issues to addictions, etc. So this is part of a long-term plan, and we're very happy with the announcement because we got the PTSD legislation passed in 2016, and now we are starting to get funding to our mental health programs. But this is basically a drop in the bucket, and it has to be increased, but at least we have the foot in the door to be able to show the value of putting money up front and supporting our firefighters and paramedics in their job of fighting fires and also saving lives at medical interventions.
The Matagami First Nation Fire Department in Ontario received $20,000 in funding from the Matagami Trust. The department submitted their application in August and received approval in October. The fire department has now decided to use the money to buy new auto extrication tools and radios. Timmins Today reported Fire Chief Curtis Fowler said the department now has radios for all 20 firefighters. He said upgrading their tools will improve communication drastically, and the funding will go a long way in providing better service to the community, the surrounding area, and the highway the department serves. Adam Grant is the new fire chief for Markham Fire and Emergency Services. In our latest Firefighting in Canada podcast, Chief Grant joins host and fire chief Tom DeSorcy for a conversation about serving the most diverse community in Ontario, the challenges for leadership in 2021, and what shifts in approach are here to stay as Canada moves through COVID-19 and beyond.
I'm thrilled to have this opportunity to have this role, but there are pressures like no other. Budgetary pressures that are going to be facing us next year, people pressures with respect to the emotional and mental health implications as it relates to COVID and the family stresses that people are bringing to work. And, we're very fortunate to be able to come to work, but some of our firefighters that are coming to work or some of our staff, their spouses have been laid off or their partners have been laid off or they've had issues with homeschooling, etc. So the time for leadership, not just in the traditional fire service role as it stands, the leadership to be there for people when they're at their lowest, to encourage them to come to work and continue to give 100% even though there are challenges that are facing them at home and with the pandemic. It's been overwhelming. That has been overwhelming, and I'm sure it's been overwhelming and challenging for many of my colleagues across the country.
The Markham Fire Department has 280 full-time fire staff, with 240 in suppression. To listen to the full podcast, visit firefightingincanada.com and subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts. Thanks again to VFIS of Canada, a division of CVIS Incorporated, Canada's largest insurer of firefighters. Stay tuned for our next episode on Friday, December 18th.